In the heart of a small, forgotten town lies an abandoned hospital, known only as the Shadow Valley Hospital. For decades, it was the main healthcare facility for the population, until a mysterious fire devastated part of the building, leading to its closure. No one knows for sure how the fire started, but rumors say something evil resided in those halls long before the disaster. Since then, the hospital has remained in ruins, yet it still draws the curiosity of urban explorers and mystery hunters. The story I am about to tell is of one such expedition, but this one ended in a way no one could have imagined. It all began with three friends who met in an online mystery forum. Their names were Alex, Julia, and David, and they were obsessed with abandoned places. They had explored several factories and old houses, but always steered clear of Shadow Valley Hospital. They said something about that place disturbed them, a feeling that someone or something was watching. But on that day, they decided to face their fears and enter. As night fell, the trio walked through the rusted gate. The air around the hospital felt heavy, as if even nature avoided the place. As they stepped into the damp lobby, their flashlight beams flickered, and Julia mentioned the air felt colder inside. David, the skeptic, laughed it off, saying it was just their imagination. But as they ventured further into the empty, echoing corridors, the silence seemed almost alive. Then the whispers began. At first, it was something very soft, like the wind scratching against the walls. But it quickly became clear that it wasn't the wind. There were voices that seemed to come from everywhere at once. They stopped, holding their breath, their hearts pounding. Alex, the bravest of the group, suggested they keep moving, saying the voices were probably old echoes from the ventilation system. But as they pressed on, the voices grew louder, almost as if the walls themselves were trying to speak. Inside an abandoned operating room, something finally happened. The door behind them slammed shut with a bang, making them all jump. Julia rushed to the door, trying to open it, but it was locked. David, now clearly rattled, began shouting, pounding on the walls and calling for help. That's when they saw it, a shadow in the corner of the room, motionless, just watching. Terror gripped them as the shadow moved slowly, revealing a deformed, translucent figure. It looked like a patient from decades ago, still wearing a torn hospital gown stained with dried blood. But the most disturbing thing was the sound, a low moan, almost human, mixed with the same whispers they had heard in the halls. Alex tried to force the door, but the figure kept coming closer, dragging its feet. Each step made the floor creak as if bones were breaking. Time seemed to slow down, and the air around them grew heavy and cold, as if something was draining their strength. The figure stopped in front of them, and its face, it had no face, just a smooth, pale surface, no eyes, no mouth, no nose. But somehow, they knew it was staring at them. Then, in a desperate move, Julia found an escape, a window leading back into the hallway. They scrambled through it, but as they turned to look at the hospital one last time, they saw the figure standing in a window, watching, as if waiting for them to return. When they finally reached the town, everything seemed like a distant nightmare, but the marks of that experience stayed with them. Days later, Alex began hearing whispers in his own house, and then he disappeared. Julia swore that every time she looked into a mirror, she saw that faceless figure. And David, he simply went mad. They say Shadow Valley Hospital is still there, waiting for more curious explorers. But those who enter never leave the same. Now, I ask you, would you dare to enter?